Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome please the one and only Brandon Price.
Oh, you're like a garden of spring flowers. A few weeds in among them here and there. No, I'm talking about the men with the beards. I came home recently. Actually, I come home every night, but this was a night recently. And when I got home, I had had a couple of drinks, you see? And the taxi dropped me off right outside the house, and I tiptoed in, and she was awake. She who must be obeyed at all times. I went up the stairs, she's sitting up in the bed, 23 pillows behind her.
Where were you to now?
I was out. Which is a great answer, by the way. It is. I was out is a fabulous answer, because think of it, fellas, it's the full truth, and you're given no information at the same time.
And where were you out?
We were down in the pub, and we got locked in. Some fella parked his lorry outside the front door of the pub, and he didn't come back till now.
And what were you doing there?
We had to have a drink while we were waiting.
And what are you doing here at this hour?
Is the only place open. And while I was down in the pub, I'm after joining a new club.
You joined the club at 3:30 in the morning in the pub? What sort of a club did you?
I'm after joining a local parachute club.
Did you join the parachute club? You, who won't go up a step ladder, and you joined a parachute club?
I said I'm paid up for 12 months, and here's my membership card to prove it. And I took out that blooming membership card. Rockeye perished on. She snapped it on me and get out.
The parachute club, I joined 12 months member and party. That's a prostitute club you're after joining. That's not parachute, that's a prostitute club.
Oh, so I got it, and I've my name down for 3 jumps at the weekend. I can't keep her happy. Can't keep her. If I come home early, she thinks I'm looking for something. If I come home late, she thinks I don't know. It's ridiculous. I'll tell you now, I do have to try and build up the brownie points. Just listen to this. For our 25th wedding anniversary, I took her on the QE2. Well, you want to see the QE2. We really enjoyed the cruise. In actual fact, while I was on it, I got to know a few of the crew, and they invited me up on the bridge. And I was just having a look around, and the officers were all gathered in the centre, and I could hear the radar going bleep, bleep. And suddenly, as I walked over, I hear the first officer saying, "Attention, this is the QE2. We seem to be on a collision course. We suggest you move 10 degrees to the west. Over." And I heard coming back,
"Well, this is Paddy O'Brien here, and I have you on my radar, and we are on a collision course, and I suggest that you move 10 degrees to the west."
He said, "You don't seem to understand. This is the QE2, and we are travelling at 27 knots. We're on a collision course. I suggest you take immediate action and move 10 degrees to the west."
"Well," he says, "I'm telling you, I'm still Paddy here, and you better move fairly quick, because we are on a collision course."
And then the captain got on. Oh, the captain was angry. He said, "This is the captain here of the QE2. Without delay, you move 10 degrees to the west, or there will be a collision."
"Well," he says, "I'm telling you for the last time, this is Paddy O'Brien here, and I want to tell you that you should move 10 degrees to the west, because I'm the lighthouse keeper on the Fastnet Rock."
Your call. Well, talk about swift action. I am telling you, the captain had to send for the khaki trousers immediately. But you know, it was a lovely 7-week cruise around the world to South Africa, South America, Argentina, Alaska, Canada, Europe. And when that cruise was finished, I just looked into her eyes and I said, "What did you think of that?" She said, "It was okay." It was all right. This was after a world cruise. It was okay. It was fine. Next year, I want to go somewhere different. I want to go somewhere I haven't been before. I said, "Try the kitchen." What do you do in a place like that? But you know what our best asset is, and I really mean that. Our best asset, and my father, God be good to him, used to say it to me, and I didn't really understand it so far back, but your best asset are your friends. Am I right or wrong when I say that? Enjoy your friends, cherish your friends, and love your friends, because I tell you something, it's such an important thing. My best friend, by the way, and I'm lucky with my circle of friends. Now, my best friend, of course, is my wife. Well, she is my best friend, but my second best friend is a priest. And I have to say, he's a great old character. He really is a wonderful, wonderful guy. Regular type of a fella. He'd go out with the lads at the weekend for a pint. Never wears the gear in the pub. He always wears a jeans and a kind of a sweatshirt. And you know, although nuns are doing that now. I want to just warn you that there's probably nuns here at this show tonight. And you won't know because they dress as us. Like towards years ago, when I was a kid in school, we used to have the nuns, and God bless us, the nuns, for some reason or other, they always wore the gear. And remember the big hood that they used to wear? If there was a gust of wind, they'd take off. And they had this frock all the way to the floor. I used to think our nuns had no feet. I used to think they were on casters. I thought the Reverend Mother was there with a remote control and they'd be moving around it. And I went to a school in Dublin called Our Lady of Perpetual Pain. That was a rough school. And our head nun was the Reverend Mother Punishment. And she used to knock the daylights out of us. There's actually a lovely story about the two nuns going back into the 60s now, and they were on their way to the supermarket one day to do the shopping. And they were driving the convent car, like the company car, the convent mobile. And there was a little red Mini. You all remember the Minis, don't you remember the Minis? They were a lovely little car. And the two nuns on the way to the supermarket, and when they got to the supermarket, just going into the car park, the heavens opened, rain everywhere. So Sister Gonzaga says to Sister Mary, "Mary, you go in, do the shopping, I'll keep driving around the car park, and when you come out, I'll pull up outside the door." So she went in to get the usual, the groceries, the spuds, the butter, the bread, the milk, the beer. And she had them all in the trolley, went out to the front of the supermarket, has a peek into the car park like this. No sign of her friend in the car. And she goes over to this fella who's very forlorn looking, and she says to him, you know the way the nuns talk? You know, they talk like butter wouldn't melt in their mouth. She said, excuse me, sir, did you see a nun in a red Mini? And the man turned around and said, not since I took the pledge. But this priest, this wonderful priest, you know, he was telling me a particular story about confessions one time. Now, naturally, he didn't divulge anything he heard in confession, but he told me this instance. You remember confessions years ago were different? Do you remember when they were different? You had to wear your Sunday best on a Saturday evening going in for confession. Remember? No anoraks, no sneakers, no jeans, and the smell of Brill cream and 4 7-Eleven when you walked into the church. And a full church for confession. You went in, you genuflected, and you knelt down on the last pew, and as the confessions to be heard, you'd kneel all across like that. And you keep kneeling over. Then you'd have to get out this side, genuflect, into the pew in front, kneel, and then you're over back this way like that. And I'm talking about a real genuflection, by the way. Not this new thing. Now, I mean, we were taught, when you're in the Holy God's house, you must genuflect. Your knee must hit the floor. But these new, have you seen them at it now? The new genuflection now in Mass?